Anything?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are welcoming you live to Resolution Retro. Today we had planned for a guest host. Maybe he'll join in. I'm hopeful, but if not, things come up, things happen. You know, that's just how it is. But otherwise, I am the mystery host, the ruler of all hosts, joined alongside by my co-host, the historian. How you doing, Tori?
I am doing wonderful, bro. I am doing wonderful. As you just alluded, we had plans for a special guest host, but we don't know if he's going to show up or not. So let's get the show rolling, bro. That's all we can do at this point.
And I still intend on, getting that said host. But tonight, instead of talking about the classic Nitros and Raws, I have decided to go ahead and...
Okay.
Huh?
Nitros and Raws.
We are going to go ahead and just talk about retro history. And come the new year, we will move up our show alignments to 2019 and 1996, so that Raw, ECW, and Nitro will all be our new coverage. But until then, the next couple of shows, Tori, is going to be all about retro. So with that being the spirit, we are going to go ahead and talk about... Huh?
I was just thinking of something. You said retro. We're going to talk about retro history. So I got an idea. I'll pick a wrestler, and we can just talk about the retro history of that wrestler from the past. What do you think about that idea?
Sounds good to me.
All right. This is a special show for the holidays, ladies and gentlemen. And in honor of the holidays, my first pick is a wrestler from the past. And if you all can come up with some of his or her best matches, we'll talk about that.
Actually, Tori, I also had some good ideas. Hey, Jamie. And Jamie suggested we play a game.
Okay.
We are going to play that game. We're also going to talk about who does certain wrestling moves the best. Tori,
that's right. And earlier today, we just talked about a move known as...
Hang on, Tori,
the
hang
spear.
on. Don't spoil it, because that's going to be one of our subjects.
My apologies, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's not give away the show, but first you wanted to go back and forth on a few historical wrestlers. So please, Tori, take the floor and let us... Who do you have in mind first?
Man, this is somebody that I grew up watching for a long time in multiple organizations. And the first wrestler I would like to talk about is Sting. Steve Borton.
Ric Flair versus Sting, the very last episode of Nitro, one of their best matches, ironically and very sadly.
Yeah. Actually, I like the match between Sting and Ric Flair at the Great American Bash when they were going for the NWA WCW title.
Hey, Isaac.
One of Sting's best match.
Another good Sting match. Sleepy Isaac.
I would like to say... Go ahead.
Jamie said, bang, Sleepy Isaac in. Isaac left. He wants me to bring Isaac in. Hey, Anthony. Isaac left. He just popped in.
I would like to...
Go ahead.
one of my best Sting matches of all time was the match he had against Vader. The rivalry he had against Big Van Vader. Rest in peace to Leon White, aka Vader. But the matches that he had with Sting was some of the best brawls I have ever seen in WCW history.
You know, I got one that's more modern.
If you could just pick out one Sting versus Vader match, which one would it be? Because they had so many during that time.
Their second one, actually. It was better than the first. I felt like that was the height of the storyline to it, too. All the other matches were just like follow-ups. That second match felt like a real sequel.
It does. Sting and Vader. Go ahead. What was your favorite Sting moment, Donovan, besides the match between him and Flair?
One of mine is 2006, Sting's return to Impact versus Jeff Jarrett. That was actually one of the best Jeff Jarrett matches I've ever seen, and Sting came back in this phenomenal shape. That's probably the best I had seen Sting in Impact, and I thoroughly enjoyed the match.
Well, one of my favorite Sting moments was
Apparently so.
When he had the Joker thing.
Hi, Matt. Oh, no, if we're talking Sting gimmicks. What's the matter, Bischoff? No kiss and make up for an old friend?
Sting was, when it comes to promo, Sting he's not exactly one of the best promo guys in the business, but he knows how to sell. He's one of the best sellers when it comes to promos.
Oh, and you know the best promo he did in Impact on that gimmick?
And what was that, in your opinion?
When he was talking to Bischoff. You know why we never got along, Bischoff? Because you're a liar. You're a crook. You're a con man. You're a disease, Eric. And like the roach, you're a cancer. And like the roach that comes in between the door and the floor, you're a cancer. You spread disease. You infect everything around you, Eric. Well, it's over. Showtime.
Sting in WCW was great. Sting in TNA was classic.
Oh, yeah.
But Sting in WWE was...
You know what? I've done forgotten about that.
Totally, I did too, but... but Sting...
Yeah, you do. You do, Jamie. You have to reinvent yourself. Hold that thought. I'll be right back.
Sting during his time... Like I said, Sting during his time in WCW, NWA before then, during the Jim Crockett promotion, when he first started out, he was great. Some of his move sets, Sting was very crisp in the ring for a man of his size, 250, 6'5", 6'6", 250 pounds. He was pretty crisp in the ring. He was one of the most agile man of his size during that time. Executed a drop kick, does the high dive off over the top rope. The thing that this man can do, wow. Sting was great. And the rivalry he had with Ric Flair, the rivalry with Vader, the rivalry with, like you said, Jeff Jarrett and TNA. Those are some of his classics, man. Even had a great match, even had some classics against guys like AJ Styles and you name it, Sting can even give you a great match against Kurt Angle. That's how great Sting was during his time. So, if anybody can pick out their favorite Sting moment, if you got any question or if you want to talk about your favorite Sting moment, please let Donovan and I talk about it. Because I'm sure there's a lot of Sting, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Sting moments that we might have forgotten about. So what do you think? Are you there, bro? Yo, Donovan, you there, bro? Looks like I'm going to have to carry the show by myself. Anybody who's a fan of Sting, please drop your comments right now and tell me your favorite moment of Sting, because he was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up as a kid. I mean, yes, he's teamed up with Lex Luger, former tag team champion with Lex Luger. He teamed up with a lot of guys. Teamed up with both Warriors at one time. So
I'm back. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you. I had a question for you, Donovan. What was your favorite rivalry with Sting? Because he had rivalry with Flair, with Vader, with Nikita Koloff.
Flair. His feud with Flair. It was his longest and ongoing rivalry. And there's a lot of history there. It's like Flair really did help elevate Sting to the world title.
Yes, he did. I will give him that. And Ric Flair said on an interview one time that he always wanted to work with Sting and elevate Sting. So like when Dusty Rhodes did the same for Ric Flair during Ric Flair's career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm glad about that. So is it my turn to pick a wrestler?
Yes.
I got one for you.
Okay, let's do it, man.
You went the face of WCW. This is Retro.
Right.
So I'm going the face of WWF. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Right. If you're down with that, give me a hell yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I know all about Steve Austin. He started out as Stunning Steve Austin.
Then he became Superstar Steve Austin. Then he became Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You forgot about Rainmaster, but...
Well, I mean that was like a weird transitional period.
It was. But I gotta say one thing about Austin, man. When he was in WCW, he was pretty good.
Versus Vince.
Teamed up with. He teamed up with Brian Pillman, aka the Hollywood Blonde Tag Team Champions. He wrestled for the United States Championship, won the title. Former television champion. The only title he never won, the only title that he hasn't won during his time in WCW is the World Heavyweight Championship, which sucks because he should have been one of the top contenders during that time.
Bischoff didn't think he was a world title contender. And then fast forward a year later, didn't. Okay, so Tori, as in your own format, name me one of, we're going to go back and forth, 2 matches apiece or 2 feuds apiece. Name me your favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin feud. Or match.
My favorite Austin feud was against The Rock.
Which one?
Seriously, Austin versus The Rock had some of the best rivalry in the history of the WWF during that time.
Yeah, that was most of the pretext of that. But what was your favorite match? WrestleMania 19?
My favorite match with Austin and The Rock, definitely favorite WrestleMania 19 or 20.
That was their second match. I think 20 was the horrible Mania.
I'm going with WrestleMania 19 because those two had a great match. That when The Rock was part of the corporation, I believe.
No, you're thinking of this 2017, the WrestleMania 17, and that was the best match. It had everything: hardcore wrestling, submission wrestling, brawling, tit for tat.
That's why I was thinking of WrestleMania 17 when Austin and The Rock had their first match.
19 was the one where The Rock was about to turn face.
Yeah. That when The Rock turned on the corporation. Now, my favorite feud with Austin, since you mentioned,
hang on.
was against...
You said The Rock. I get to go.
Yeah.
I get this next one.
Okay.
I can't use that feud because that's the easy, obvious answer.
Okay. What's yours?
Stone Cold feud, one of my favorites. Never gonna live it down, but since The Rock and his long history with Stone Cold has already been covered, give me a hell yeah. His feud with Triple H.
That's a feud. Oh my God.
He put some of the best work forward in his long periods with Triple H.
And I remember Triple H and Austin talked about that, because if it wasn't for Stone Cold, Triple H wouldn't be as great as he was.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he, basically Austin put him on the map.
I hear to that.
Other than Shawn Michaels.
And you know what? I definitely agree with you, Jamie. Brett and Owen, that's another good one. His feuds with them were great.
Yeah.
My favorite match with Triple H.
That.
My favorite match with Triple H. I really don't have one. There's like 3, and they're all pay-per-views. They're all good.
Okay.
But more to the point.
I mean.
Go ahead.
I'm listening.
More to the point. Name your next feud. See if you can top Triple H and Rock.
Oh, we're talking about Austin, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Give me a hell yeah.
I would, my best Austin feud, Undertaker.
That's a good one. I was going to say that, but I got to back up. Jamie helped. What was your favorite match between Rock, and why do you like it, and what was your favorite match, and why?
I like my favorite, when Austin was here's the thing I like about Austin. Austin versus The Undertaker on Raw for the WWF Championship it was a great feud. That when The Undertaker was part of the corporate ministry, and he was just now, that was before Undertaker decided to become the American badass. Undertaker was part of the corporate ministry, and Stone Cold Steve Austin told Vince McMahon during that time that he's going to get his title shot the next day when he lost the ladder match to take over the company during that time. So I'm going to give you a backstory on why I said Austin versus Undertaker. Austin
versus
McMahon
Adams.
that he wanted his championship back. So Austin said that he's going to get a title match against The Undertaker.
Now,
that's why I like that feud, because Austin and Undertaker, man, those two guys, that was one of the best feuds I seen on Raw during that time.
I bet you I can top. I bet you I can top that feud with mine.
All right.
My second favorite Stone Cold feud, and to be honest, I could go with Jamie's answer and say Bret the Hitman. I could say HBK. But.
Oh yeah.
But there's one that's bigger than that, and that's just as big as Austin versus The Rock.
And what's that?
Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vincent Kennedy McMahon. That was the Attitude Era.
If it wasn't for McMahon and Austin, you absolutely... You know what, Donovan? You would really top that one. Because I will say this. If it wasn't for Austin and McMahon, there wouldn't be no Attitude Era.
If it wasn't for Austin and McMahon, technically, if you pay attention to WrestleMania 17 and 19... Vincent Kennedy McMahon was heavily involved in both matches.
Yes, he was.
Yes, Jamie, I know you said it. You covered that as soon as I said Stone Cold. But we got to evaluate in the importance of that.
Jamie, appreciate that, man, because I was thinking about Austin versus McMahon. I was going to say Austin versus Tyson, but that was like a very short feud, but that was...
But it did have an impact because it established Stone Cold as the toughest son of a bitch in pro wrestling, not sports entertainment.
Yes.
Jamie said he's putting himself over. Hey Jamie, one of these days I'm gonna make a WVBW call for you, just because I think it would be hilarious.
Hey, you know what? I got an idea for Jamie. He should be on I think Jamie should be on our show one day too, because he knows his stuff just like I do.
Yeah, he would do it, but he just works too much, man. I mentioned Bret Hart, and so did Jamie, Mitt. And I could have went with that, and I also said HBK, because his feud with HBK was great too.
Classic. So, is my turn to pick another wrestler, or we...
It's your turn.
I can go all night with this.
It's your turn. We're gonna do a couple of more apiece. You did Sting. I did Austin. We covered the faces of both companies. So now back to you, Tori.
Ooh, boy. Now I'm gonna pick a guy that nobody expected for me to pick.
I'm gonna
and
do the same
I want you to think very long and hard about this, folks. This is somebody that nobody expected for me to pick. And I want you to think of the best matches.
If he says Hulk Hogan or John Cena, we're done.
No, I'm not going with those two. No.
Name me a classic Hulk Hogan match. You can't, because he has to actually put on a wrestling match first.
I'm going with somebody that nobody expect me to pick. I want you all to think about this. Owen Hart. Your best Owen Hart rivalry and matches. Owen Hart.
To be honest, that's not even a question, dude. Owen versus Bret.
Two brothers going at it?
That was the defining moment for Owen Hart.
I was gonna say,
Go ahead.
I was gonna piggyback on what you said about Owen versus Austin.
Go ahead. Name your favorite match and feud. Why? Tell everybody why you like the feud in the match.
Because Owen Hart, I remember the rivalry they had for the IC title, and that was during the mid '90s when Owen Hart and Austin just now going at it. That when Owen Hart was part of the Hart Foundation with his brother Bret and the late Jim Neidhart and Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, and he was talking about going after Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they were going for the IC title. And I remember that because that was when Owen Hart uses that tombstone like power driver and broke Austin's neck. And that's how the rivalry started. That was one of the greatest moments in Owen Hart's history. I mean, Austin versus Owen Hart was one of the best rivalry I ever seen. My other favorite Owen Hart moment was when he teamed up with Yokozuna, or his brother-in-law, British Bulldog. Let's piggyback on that, Donovan. Owen Hart was, he was great. He had some of the best gimmicks, like he was the Blue Blazer, as everybody knows. He was the Blue Blazer in the 80s. Then he became Owen Hart, the Rocket in the early 90s. Then he became the King of Heart. And then he go I love his theme song. Enough. It's time for a change. That was great. But you're right. But the Owen Hart versus Bret Hart was one of the greatest rivalries. But for me, it's always Austin versus Owen. want to say hello to those of you who just now joining the show. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Wretro. Of course, the host of the show is a little busy at the moment, but I am his co-host.
Sorry about that.
Story.
I had to go with my son, so
It's a good thing I picked up, bro, for you.
Yeah. No, I'm still here, Jamie. I just have to go back and forth with my son. My girlfriend's up now, so I should be here. I won't have to leave anymore. I just have to go check on him. I'm not going to be one of those fathers that's going to ignore his son just because I'm trying to do the radio show, and I think everybody understands that most of the time. I just didn't say anything because I didn't want to interrupt.
I would like to say one thing, man. You're a great dad, man. You're always there for your kids, and mad respect for you for that, bro.
Yeah, and
I'm doing for my mom.
I didn't want to interrupt you either.
I know. I was saying that you were busy at the moment, so I just picked up what you left off.
Yeah, I didn't.
Also,
I didn't mean to take so
Go ahead,
long, but I can't tell my son, hang on, you'll have to hold using the bathroom so I can go do my show for another hour or another 30 minutes.
Yeah, I understand that, but I was saying about Owen Hart and his rivalry and his tag team with the British Bulldog and Yokozuna, and we can pick up on that. But he was also not only a great singles wrestler, but he was a great tag team wrestler as well.
Also, I have the next good feud for you.
Okay.
Who did you... Okay, yeah, you got... So, I said Brett. You said, who did you... No, you didn't say.
I said Owen.
Yeah, Owen.
We were talking about Owen Hart.
Who did you say was his second best?
I was saying Austin. I was talking about Austin. I was talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin when Owen Hart was part of the Hart Foundation, the 90s version of the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, the new Hart Foundation.
Brother, Bulldog and the Anvil. Rest in peace to all of them except for Brett, who's still alive, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. So you know who my second one's going to be?
Go ahead, man. Let's do it.
Owen versus Shawn Michaels.
Man.
For the Intercontinental title. This was in 95.
That was a great match.
Owen
was one of the best.
Owen was not as charismatic as his brother, but he was just as good as Brett. He actually to me had some better high impact moves. Like that reverse tombstone, even though he botched it on Stone Cold.
Yeah, he did. One thing I can say about Owen Hart, I mean, yes, he's a great
I agree.
man.
I agree with that, Jamie. I would rather had him teaming with Coco again than being the Blue Blazer too. Him and Brian Pillman had their lives cut short young.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because both of them. I was gonna say one thing about Owen Hart, and now that you mention it.
Hey, by the way, Jamie can't remember if he feuded with British Bulldog.
I don't think they ever feuded. I remember they were tag team champion. I remember they were a tag team. But if they feuded, it probably was a short, very, very, very short feud.
I don't think they did because British Bulldog was a heel and then he turned face, and Owen was feuding with other people and then he turned face. British Bulldog was heel, but they never crossed.
But all I do remember was that, yes, Owen Hart did teamed up with Coco Beware as the High Flyers or whatever they call themselves.
Really?
He also teamed up with before he was teamed up with Coco Beware, he teamed up with the Anvil as the new foundation. Jim the Anvil Neidhart as the new foundation. Then Coco Beware as the High Flyers. And then he teamed up with his brother-in-law and Yokozuna. Brother-in-law being Davey Boy Smith and Yokozuna. So I think those are the teams that those are the tag teams or fashion that he been in. So, of course, the Hart Foundation with the rest of the Hart.
What about Owen did
Right,
feud with Jerry Lawler in USWA, he says.
He did. They did. I remember that, the USWA, man. That's a old school. I remember the old USWA when they had Jerry King and Brian Christopher, and they had the Headbangers and all them over there. PG-13, the worst team ever.
Yes, they really are. Now, let's not waste any more breath on their name, okay?
Yes.
I'm just playing.
I'm sorry, man, but that was, I don't know if Jamie agreed, but I'm going to ask you a question, Jamie. Do you think PG-13 is the worst team you ever seen in wrestling? Or does it, I found my ask everybody that same question. Do you all think that PG-13 is the worst tag team you ever seen in wrestling? Yes or no?
I don't know,
Maybe
but Tori's asked a question. No, I don't think they're the worst team in wrestling. You know who I thought was the worst team?
What?
Zach Gowen and Mr. America.
Yeah, that was pretty damn bad. I will say that. That was pretty bad.
That whole Mr. America storyline was terrible.
I don't know what the... And I'm going to... You know what? Forget about it. I'm not going to apologize for my language. What the fuck Hogan thinking with that Mr. America gimmick?
Oh, no, that was that was written by Vince. That was a Vince story. That had Vince written all over it.
Of course. But that was like when Hogan was part of the machine. When he was known as the Hulk machine.
Hang on, Tori. Jamie just made a good point. How many sons can't fill their father's shoes? We talked about that today.
Yes.
We are actually going to talk... Hang on, we're going to talk about that, actually. We're going to get into that subject. That's one of our subject matters for tonight. Jamie.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tori. I'm sorry.
That's a good question.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, Tori. Go ahead and finish so we can move on to the next endeavor.
Yeah, because we're going to finish. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to talk about on the next thing anyway, about what we just talked about and what Jamie just alluded to. But anyway.
I still have a wrestler.
We were talking about Owen Hart.
Yeah, I mean, if you're done, I get one more wrestler, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about sons. We want to talk about sons.
Hang on. Save that, because that is the subject topic next.
I know. I'm just saying, Owen Hart being a second generation wrestler, along with Brother Brett. I mean, both of these guys pretty much set their own map in wrestling. I just put it that way.
Owen Hart had his career cut short. I felt like we would have got a WWF champion, Owen Hart.
Yeah, we would have. He would at least have
Yes, Jamie. Yes, Jamie. After me, I'll let you pick a wrestler, and we'll discuss your wrestler. Since you're a loyal fan.
Yeah.
I'll do one more, and we'll let you get the fifth pick before we move on to talking about legacy wrestlers.
Go ahead, bro. I'm gonna let you pick your next wrestler. I'm done with. I think I'm finished with Owen Hart.
Man, we talked about.
And after that, let Jamie, and then we'll go with Jamie's pick. Cause he's seen and know a lot about wrestling too, just like I do. So.
Yeah, he does. I know he does.
Hey.
You know who my second pick is?
Okay.
Magnum T.A.
Oh man.
You
want me to start on him? Cause I liked it. He was one of my favorites.
knew I was gonna say Magnum TA, because you, Tori, are the only person that knows I like Magnum TA. None of my co-hosts on this show know about Magnum TA or how much I know about him or liked him and think that his wrestling career was cut short. He's kind of the early 90s version of Owen and Brian Pillman. And I really wanted to go with this. I I really want to talk about Magnum TA because we can do that. So now, you know what?
Let's talk about it because I'm gonna tell you something about this guy. And you know what?
I'm going to use that one,
shame.
Jamie. I'm going to use that one because that is actually probably one of his best damn matches. Go ahead, Tori.
I'm gonna say one thing about Magnum TA. I mean, he was, and I'm crying about this because you're right. His career was cut short because this guy, he was one of my favorite growing up as a kid. The rivalries. I mean, he was a great United States champion. The rivalry he had with Nikita Koloff, the rivalry he had with Ric Flair, man, he was great. So I'm gonna go with the one he had against Nikita Koloff for the United States title. I mean, those two were. You want to talk about a great match?
Hey, and ironically, you're using a second-generation wrestler.
Exactly. That's exact. I mean, Magnum TA is a second-generation wrestler.
So is Nikita Koloff.
And also Nikita Koloff. I mean, these two guys going back and forth for the United States title. Magnum TA had held it. He was, you know what? To be honest, before there was Luger.
He did put on a good match. Kamala did give him a good match, though.
Yeah. Before Lex Luger was one of the longest reigning United States champion, Magnum TA was a great champion.
Come get on the TA Express.
I don't think Magnum TA even lost the United States title, to be honest.
No, he got injured.
The only reason why he forfeited the United States title because of neck injury, and plus he was on a bike. He was in an accident. That's the only reason why his career was cut short. But anyway, back to his wrestling days. This guy was one of the best, one of the greatest guys in the history of wrestling that never won a world title, and he should have been a world champion. He was one of those guys that should have been a world champion a long time ago. And if they don't put this man in the Hall of Fame, shame on them. Go ahead, bro. Anyway, my favorite rivalry was against Nikita Koloff.
My favorite rivalry was Tully Blanchard, and I can't even argue with that because like he put on some damn good matches with the Nikita, Flair, and a plethora of others that were at the time up and coming that ended up going on to do some okay mid-card work, but Tully Blanchard was a big defining moment.
He was. I agree with that. Tony. One thing I can say about Tully Blanchard back in the day, he'll make anybody famous. That's one thing I can love about Tully Blanchard. He'll work with anybody.
But I mean,
he'll work with just about anybody.
I mean, seriously, dude. Those were Magnum TA's three biggest feuds. We don't even need to go back and forth on a fourth one. He had some good matches, but his feud with Flair, Nikita, and Tully, those were his like highlights. That is a highlight reel. Most wrestlers in that era didn't have the kind of resume and rep that this man had.
No, they didn't. Very few. I mean, we're talking about very few guys that had matches with Tully, had matches with Nikita and Flair. I mean,
like he said, teaming up with Dusty versus the Horsemen. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like that was his ongoing feud with Flair. I mean, Jamie, Tori, I have to say, Magnum TA, as far as classic wrestlers, anytime somebody says who's your favorite golden era or new generation, pre-Attitude Era wrestler, every fucking time I'm gonna say Magnum TA. Because this dude was great. He was way ahead of his time. This was a dude this is a dude that literally could have competed when the cruiserweights were running, man. And back in the late 90s. This dude was like, just everything he did in that ring was great. He was a great promo guy. He was a great character. He was a great in-ring worker. This dude could have been a major star in Japan if considering today's style. And he was just way before his time, and his career was cut short early. And this is a man that I feel like, even above somebody like Hayabusa, who I have a lot of respect for and I could have used on this list, I had to go Magnum TA over Hayabusa. By the way, I do want to say R.I.P. Hayabusa. The man got to live his dream. He wanted to get out of his chair and walk. He got to get up and walk down that ramp, get into that ring, and have a match. It wasn't a great match compared to what he's done in the past, but R.I.P. Hayabusa, you fulfilled your dream.
I was going to echo what you just said, because I remember Hayabusa. I mean, this guy was a magician in the ring, too. I will give it, and you know what? Like you just said, rest in peace to him. My heart goes out to his family and to all his fans in Japan.
Our hearts go out to the Hayabusa family. I'm pretty sure that's not their real name.
I'm just going by,
I'm just making a little joke because I don't want to sour the mood, because we're all riding this. This is a great show.
I'm having a lot of fun, man. And
me too.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. We both love this. This is what I like. We both love wrestling. It doesn't matter if it's the golden era of wrestling, from guys like you just mentioned, Magnum TA, to Bruno Sammartinos, to those guys back in the before our time and during our time, to the Attitude Era, to the current era.
Thank you, Jamie, thank you. It was and I can't read the name right now because my eyes are going like blurry from the wind. But he gave us, I can't say the first part, but it was Izaki.
Kenzo Sasaki.
No, E-I-J-I, Izaki.
Okay, Izaki, yeah. He was great too. I remember him in Japan. So let's go with Jamie's pick. Unless you still got some more Magnum TA moments, bro.
Mitt, stop trying to plug yourself over there. We need to add Jamie and Mitt to the show. Hey, let's add Jamie and Mitt to the show so Mitt can sit there and only talk like twice a show. I'm just playing with you, Mitt. No, Jamie, it's real, like, I live in Texas, so I live in East Texas, well, Central East, so it's real moist. It's real humid here, so when it's like cold, it's moisture, so it makes my eyes blurry, so I can't always read, certain comments. That's why I botch what you say sometimes. That's why I botch what you say sometimes. It's the cold, man. Anyways.
Don't worry about it.
But anyways.
Don't worry about it, Donovan. If you botch, that's where I come in, bro.
Well, you can't read what Jamie's saying. And Jamie is really nice about correcting it and making sure I do say it. And I do apologize if I do botch. But, to move on, Jamie, who's your pick? Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, I want to see your pick too, bro.
And by the way, Tori, I'm not asking you how old you are, and I am going to cover that because that's a good one. I would have went with Dory. He said Terry Funk. I would have went with Dory. I think Dory is still wrestling too.
Wow, Terry Funk.
Funk.
His pick is Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
Man.
Come on, dude.
Now that's gonna.
Dude, hands down, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk in Japan.
Thank you.
Terry Funk had great matches. His matches with Dory were good, but his feud with Cactus Jack is unreal.
In Japan. Wow. That was my favorite Terry Funk matches. Man, he had so many of those. Man, Terry Funk been around.
Who would you say, Macho Man, that was his biggest rival? Who would you say that Macho Man was his biggest rival? Nah. He said Patrick Swayze.
No.
He said Terry Funk versus Patrick Swayze Jr.
Yeah, I remember that in Roll High when Patrick Swayze and Terry Funk fought in that movie. That was a great. And by the way, if you are a fan of Terry Funk, I would suggest buying that movie. So that was a great movie.
And Mitt says who was Macho Man's biggest rival?
We'll cover that too, bro. But right now we're going with Terry Funk. You said Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, right?
I said Terry Funk
in Japan.
I said Terry Funk, Cactus Jack in Japan. I said those two had literal death matches, and I've talked about death matches.
Wow.
You can't.
That was one of the most. I was gonna say the match he had against. Damn, you stole my answer, bro. Cause I was going with Mick Foley. I was going the same thing, but I'm gonna have to go with a barbed wire match between Cactus Jack and Terry Funk and ECW.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with the exploding. I'm gonna have to go with the exploding ring death match.
In Japan.
Yeah. Okay. Terry Funk versus Mick Foley in any death match. ECW, the barbed wire match, ain't shit compared to their fucking electrified barbed wire landmine death matches. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, dude. You can't say any.
You're right, man.
Terry Funk and Cactus Jack are two of the most sickest, demented, and it's like Mick Foley has a split personality. Like, I really believe that he really became somebody else to be Cactus Jack, because that man would rip his own ear off to win a match. So, and Cactus Jack and Terry Funk were the best rivals, because these two men were just they were sadistic, demented, crazy, psychotic little matches in Japan during a time when death matches were the way to, hey man, you want to have fun tonight? Yeah, let's have a death match. Yeah.
And the thing about it was, and I was just thinking about what you were saying, Donovan. I mean, I was just like laughing because it was so true. Because in Japan, and I want to think about this, folks. In Japan during that time, that was before ECW even became big. They had those type of matches in Japan. And when you talk about death matches in Japan, that's all they did back then. And like you said, let's have a death match. Let's have barbed wires and broken glasses and
piranha tanks and electrified barbed wire and C4 strapped to drum cans and fucking electric eel tanks and
broken, like I said, broken glasses and
fluorescent light tubes and like a randomly exploding ring, because why not?
A barbed wire wrap. If you want to have your chair wrapped in barbed wire, go right ahead. Let's do it. If you want to have your baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, go right ahead. You want to have a steel pipe wrapped in barbed wire? Bring them on in there. Let's have a little fun.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and you know what? I'm just going by. I was just saying it was. I'm being a comedian on this because that's exactly what kind of match it was between Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, and Terry Funk.
You're damn right it was. This was the best rivalry, hands down, for these two. Neither one of them could have done anything better. They were each other's perfect match. They were each other's wrestling soulmate.
I mean, it was like they got this. It's like this. They got this. We got this. Let's have a bar. Let's have a death match. You got anything to do? Hey, Mick Foley, you got anything you got to do? No. How about you, Terry? No. Let's go and have a death match.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, that's all right. Me too. Yeah, let's do it.
and you gotta, and you know what? Those Japanese crowd, man, them Japanese crowd, and yes, some of the American people that was in the attendance at the time. Oh man, they ate that. They ate that shit up, bro. You know what I mean by ate it up? They were just all up. They loved that match. The crowd was like, that was all in it, man. That was one of the best rivalries I have ever seen. I was going to go with Ric Flair versus Terry Funk as well in WCW.
Yeah, I saw those spoilers, Jamie. And yes, that hug he gave Tommy Dreamer was good. I'm sorry, Tori. I'm trying to keep up with the match. I had to come in.
I understand.
Yeah,
and you know what, Jamie? I appreciate that, bro. That was Terry Funk, man. That was my man.
And Mitt wants to know what your favorite, I think Macho Man's best rival was. Jamie said Ricky Steamboat, but I can name somebody who was better.
Oh, man. My favorite Macho Man rivalry? I'm going to have to go back to the day before Macho Man was in WWE or WWF. His rivalry with Jerry King Lawler.
Woohoo! Go
in the early 80s. You remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
That was a great rivalry between Randy Savage and Jerry King Lawler. That when Randy Savage was managed by, at the time, Jimmy Hart. So yeah, Jerry King Lawler was a babyface during that time, and Macho Man was a heel. So they had a rivalry back in the day in Tennessee. And that was a great rivalry between Savage and Lawler. I mean, yeah, when you talk about, yes, the match he had with Steamboat was great. The match Savage had with Hogan, it was okay in WWE. The matches he had with Ultimate Warriors was great too.
Hey, don't be trying to take...
And the match he had with Ric Flair was okay.
Hey, let me get a rivalry in. You're covering all the rivalries, man. Come on.
Hey, I'm just trying to make up for lost time, bro. I'm just saying.
Hey.
Go ahead.
His best rivalry was the one that he never really could truly overcome. His rivalry with Hulk Hogan.
Man.
Be a man, Hulk, and don't be scared. You're running from Macho Man, that's what I heard.
I was going to say he had a rivalry with Jake the Snake, but it was short-lived.
Yeah. Well, either way, man, that's our rivalry, our old-school rival section. I'm going to go ahead and speed us through to our next segment. Our next segment is going to be one that I personally think that Tori's going to enjoy, is Legacy Wrestlers.
Yes.
Let's talk about some legacy wrestlers. Now, Tori, I'm going to let you dictate this one. I mean, if you want to generalize it or say who succeeded and who didn't, we can do that. Or if you just want to talk about certain ones, the floor is yours, man.
Legacy wrestlers. In other words, we're talking about guys we're talking about like second or third generation wrestlers. These are legacy
fourth
wrestlers.
Generation wrestlers.
Or fourth generation wrestler. I'm going to give you a prime example. Eric Watts.
I brought that up earlier, you douchebag. Go ahead, talk about his daddy, then talk about him. Go ahead.
I'm going to educate those of you who don't know who the fuck Eric Watts is. Excuse my language, because this is my part. I'm going to generalize this. You see, his father was one of the greatest wrestlers, one of the greatest brawlers in the history of wrestling. Cowboy Bill Watts, a Hall of Famer.
Brooklyn Brawler would like to have a word with you.
Cowboy Bill Watts, the man behind Mid-South Wrestling, the man behind, Cowboy Bill Watts was the man behind Mid-South Wrestling. Right? Right or wrong?
Right.
Okay. Cowboy Bill Watts was a great wrestler, a brawler. He was one of the greatest of all time during that time. A champion. in the Mid-South area. Okay? His son started out in WCW. He was okay. He had the STO, the STF. But what has Eric Watt done with it? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he did.
You see, when you are a second, third, or fourth generation wrestler, and I'm gonna think about it. When you are a second, third, or fourth generation wrestler, you're supposed to be you're supposed to surpass your own father's legacy, right?
Yep.
I give you a prime example of who I'm talking about. Look at Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. His father was a wrestler. And what did Ted DiBiase do? He built his own legacy. Too bad his son didn't do it.
Money.
You know, Ted DiBiase Jr.
But his son was a great wrestler and charismatic. WWE just never used him. They never did anything with him. They buried him. He was the one who was getting over more. He could have done his own thing. Dream Street.
They buried him.
Dream Street was getting over like a motherfucker, dude.
Exactly. I mean, they buried Ted DiBiase Jr. But his father built his own legacy. Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. Ted DiBiase's father, even though his father was a wrestler, but his father, Eddie DiBiase or something like that, he passed away before he even had his own legacy. But it's a good thing that Ted DiBiase Sr. picked it up. And then you want to talk about the Funks. Dory Funk Sr. was a great wrestler before our time, but his two sons, Terry and Dory Funk Jr., man, we just mentioned Terry Funk. He's a second generation wrestler. And we know Terry Funk built his own legacy as a hardcore wrestler. His brother, Dory Funk Jr., built his legacy as a champion in everywhere he's been. Both of these guys have been champion everywhere they've been.
And Dory Funk Jr. is still wrestling.
Yes, and Dory Funk Jr. needs to go to the retirement home. Both the Funk brothers need to go to the retirement home. I love them, I respect them, but they need to go to the retirement home. Now, let's talk about another famous wrestling family, the Orton.
Oh, he said his grandfather was Mike DiBiase. Talking about Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Orton family. Bob Orton Sr. was a great wrestler. Rest in peace to him. Bob Orton Jr.
Cowboy Bob Orton.
As you know, was known as Cowboy Bob Orton, the Ace. Built his legacy in the AWA, in the old Jim Crockett promotion. That's right, he was in Jim Crockett promotion. Cowboy Bob Orton has built his legacy in the AWA and the old Jim Crockett promotion. Obviously in the WWF during that time, and also in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and in the Universal, and also in the old UWF. This guy is a certified Hall of Famer. He deserved to be, but his son, Randy Orton,
the Viper,
what can you say about
Predator,
Randy Orton?
the Legend Killer?
The Legend Killer, Randy Orton, already had built his own legacy, and he's still building his legacy to this day. Randy Orton is the type of guy that is already established, but he's still building his legacy. Now, who else is a second and third generation wrestler? We just mentioned the Harts, right? We just mentioned Bret the Hitman Hart, Owen Hart, right? But their father was a great technical wrestler in Canada, Stu Hart. In fact,
what about Randy's? He wants to know about Randy's uncle, Barry Orton.
Oh, Barry Orton was okay, but the only thing is Barry Orton was overshadowed by Bob Orton. That's the problem. He was overshadowed by his brother, Bob Orton.
You want to talk about other?
But I was gonna get around to the Hart family.
Go ahead.
Hart, what can you? Huh?
Go ahead, because we got plenty. I don't want to cover every single one, but the Tongan.
I don't want to cover every single one. I'm just gonna cover the big ones. I'm gonna go with the Harts. Stu Hart, what can you say about the man?
Legend.
If it wasn't for Stu, legend, technical, brawler, whatever you want to call him, that man
innovator,
has built
teacher,
a legacy.
mentor.
Think about all the men think about all the great ones that this guy has trained. From the Dynamite Kid, rest in peace.
Says
Davey Boy Smith, rest in peace. His two sons, Brett and Owen, and along with his other sons. He also trained Natalia, Tyson Kidd, David Hart Smith Jr., Teddy Hart. Man, did I say that right?
Teddy Hart, yeah.
Teddy Hart and all these other guys that you see today. His sons, both of his sons, Brett, the Hitman Hart, and the Rocky Owen Hart, or the King of Hart, or whatever you want to call him.
When he's done,
also have built their own.
When he's done, I'll cover San Martino's son, because his son was a major flop.
Yes, I'm not going to even go there with.
I'm not going to.
I'll let you do
that. Ricky Steamboat's son, Richie Steamboat, he wasn't a flop. He just had no charisma.
That's the only. Yeah.
No charisma.
And then
great wrestler.
And then the last family I'm going to cover is the Rhodes. The Rhodes family.
I mean, dude, seriously.
One of my first.
Dude, seriously? Every Rhodes is better than the last. Dusty was great. I mean, we could go down his history again, but we've covered it 3 or 4 times already on this show. And Dustin
You
Rhodes,
can cover Dusty Rhodes. The thing about it with Dusty Rhodes, you can cover his history till the cows come home. In fact, that was one of his famous phrases, by the way. That's how great Dusty Rhodes was.
I mean, he innovated NXT for that matter. He innovated Impact at one point. I mean, those are his recent accolades.
Exactly. I mean, you think about this. Dusty Rhodes, 3-time world champion, United States champion, television champion, tag team champion, wrestler in Japan. I mean, this guy pretty much is an institution by his damn self. Am I right or wrong on that, Donovan? The man is basically an institution on his own. Right?
You're right.
Then let's talk about his 2 sons.
Let's start with Dustin.
Yeah, let's start with Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, 7, whatever you want to call him, built his own legacy. Let's talk about
one. You forgot one. Black Rain.
Black Rain. Yeah, I was gonna get around to that. Dustin Rhodes in WCW was okay. He started out in WCW, and he was a United States champion there, television champion there, tag team champion with several different partners. Went on to WWE or WWF as Goldust. As Goldust, multiple-time Intercontinental Champion. Went on to TNA as Black Rain. Didn't win much there. Went back to WCW. Didn't win much there. You know, when he went back to WCW, when he went back and forth between WWE and WCW, he was great. The only thing that hurt Dustin Rhodes was he just been trying to relive his glory days, and that did not work for him. Now his son Cody. Now let's talk about Cody. Well, Cody Rhodes, great in the ring.
Heyman is a member of Legacy with DiBiase Jr. and Randy. He was the weakest member of that group.
Yeah. I mean, the way that the WWE Cody Rhodes started out as a tag team partner of Hardcore Holly. then went on to Legacy. Then he went as when he did, he started putting bag over.
You're right, Jamie.
Then he went on to be Stardust. And after that, he got sick and tired and left the WWE. And now look at Cody Rhodes.
He's got his dad's legacy. He's been all over the world and held world titles and all kinds of other titles, including the current IWGP United States Championship.
Look at it, Cody Rhodes, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him.
The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Look at him. United States current IWGP United States champion. He's a former NWA champion. He's a former Ring of Honor champion. And I guarantee you.
And Tori.
He's going to be one. Yes.
He's a member of the Elite. One of the hottest factions in wrestling. And he was responsible. Right. He was one of the primary benefactors of All In.
That's right. And a great booker.
Mm-hmm.
Just like his father.
A good businessman, just like his father.
Exactly.
But there's one thing you forgot. He coined a catchphrase nobody doesn't know. Fuck the Revival.
And what's that? Cody Rhodes. My advice to you, Cody, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Oh, I was going to cover the Flair legacy, but there's only two Flairs that people are going to be talking about, and no offense to David Flair, I'm sorry, but it's not you. The only two Flair people are going to be talking about are Rick and Charlotte. That's it. That's it. What else needs to be talked about, right? Rick and Charlotte. But what are the legacies that you want to talk about, bro? Besides those names I just mentioned.
Bruno David San Martino, that was a rip.
Yes, he was.
Fuck no. Superfly Snuka's son was a rip.
Yeah, but his daughter.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. Bless you. Welcome. The next one I want to talk about is, you know how great Scott Hall is. I don't even need to say it. What about Cody Hall?
Well, I think Cody Hall is going to have a great legacy in wrestling.
Doing what? He's not even with the big company anymore. New Japan, let him go.
What is Cody Hall doing now?
Independence.
He's not even a member of the Bullet Club anymore? Because
he's been gone for a while, dude. He's been gone for a while.
Wow. I don't know what they're going to do with Cody Hall, but I don't know.
He has none of his dad's charisma.
None.
And you know,
I think Cody Hall should go to Impact Wrestling. I would say WWE because of his father being. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think Cody Hall should go to the WWE because think about who Scott Hall friends. Scott Hall got a lot of friends in that company that can help Cody Hall work on his charisma.
No, Jamie, he's not in All Japan or Noah. He's actually just wrestling independence now. Cody Hall is not a good wrestler, and he doesn't have charisma. He's still better than Leo Tonga though, dude.
Yeah. I think what they should do with Cody Hall, I think if I was Triple H, knowing that Triple H is a good friend of Scott Hall, I would sign him to a contract with the WWE, go to that performance center, and work on his promo, work on his skills, and I guarantee you, just pretty much build him up from scratch. So like they did with Velveteen Dream. Give him, kind of build him up, get his promo skill working, get his wrestling skill working, and I guarantee you, by the time they get done with Cody Hall, we'll see how they. I guarantee you, he'll be great. He still got potential. And speaking of second generation wrestler, Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Samoans before and the Tongans before we end this. We're just getting out some of these, people that are great fathers, horrible sons.
Yes.
Bruno
Sammartino, what can you say?
Bruno Sammartino is the marquee champion. He was the first notable champion.
Bruno was an institution, man. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, Bruno Sammartino helped make Antonio Inoki and Bob Backlund. Because their reigns after his established them as big names.
Like I said, Bruno is an institution. I mean, when you talk about a couple of institutions, you're talking about. I'm gonna give you my Mount Rushmore of institutions of wrestling. Bruno, Dusty, Flair, and
Inoki.
That's it.
Bob Backlund.
Well, those are my Mount Rushmore.
You forgot Bob Backlund.
And Bob Backlund.
I love Bob Backlund. I got to meet him when he was at TNA. Always wanted to meet him. Really cool dude. Just wanted you to recite all the American presidents.
But now let's talk about the Samoan dynasty, because you got a lot of great.
Start at the beginning. Start with the grandfathers.
Hachi Peter Maivia.
He was the original, right? The only original.
Yes.
Go ahead, give a little brief summary on him, not a big long one.
Oh man, Peter Maivia.
We're not even going to talk about Vern Gagne and his son. No, we're not even going to do that. Ivan Putski and we're not going to get into horrible comparisons here.
No. But I'm going to say this. Peter Maivia was the forefather of the Samoan dynasty.
Yeah, I know. He was the original.
He was never a world champion, but he was great in the ring. But let's talk about those people in his family that are great wrestlers. Let's start out with somebody like Rocky Johnson, his son-in-law.
Kicking Bullet Bob real quick, before we do that, Jamie, I got another one that's kind of a questionable one.
Sure. What's the question?
Sorry, Jamie. We are going to talk about them. Here's the question. What about Bullet Bob Armstrong versus Brian James?
Bullet Bob. Oh, yeah, that's another famous family with great wrestlers. The Armstrong of Georgia, my home state.
Yeah, I wanted to cover them because that's actually yours. But Bullet Bob Armstrong, and without getting, I don't want to delve off too far because the Samoans are the ones I want to talk about. Because I'm going to mention a comment that I told you earlier that I've been waiting to pop off. But, Bullet Bob Armstrong was great. Brian James, he's never been a good singles competitor like his dad. But he's been a great tag team wrestler with Billy Gunn. They were part of...
Don't forget about his other sons. Don't forget about Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong was great singles wrestler.
Yeah, that's very true. I forgot. I honestly...
Steve Armstrong was a great tag team wrestler. I ain't never seen Steve Armstrong as a singles wrestler, but Steve Armstrong was also a great referee. So,
yeah,
the Armstrong legacy.
The Armstrongs had a very weird, like Bullet Bob was great. He was a great character. He wasn't never the best, but he was great. And his sons all went on to do different things.
All of his sons.
That's why I wanted to cover that real quick, because it is so weird looking at their... None of them had anything similar to the other. That was a weird wrestling legacy there.
I mean, think about it. Brad Armstrong was...
You know what? Blackjack Mulligan and Barry Windham, that one I like the suggestion of. Both were great.
Blackjack Mulligan, man. You know what? I'm going to cover that real quick. Blackjack Mulligan and Barry Windham and Kendall Windham. Sorry, but yes, I had to throw him in there too.
Ugh.
I apologize. I know. But anyway, let's talk about the Blackjack Mulligan. This guy was he was a beast. Let's just put it that way. He was a giant. He was a big guy. And by the way, rest in peace to Blackjack Mulligan. I mean, he got his grandson, Bo Dallas, and Bray Wyatt in the WWE, so they're part of the same family, so let's get them out of the way as well. You catch my drift. But anyway, Blackjack Mulligan was a former tag team champion as part of Blackjack with him and Lanza.
Also, great brawler. Great brawler.
He was a hell of a brawler as a singles wrestler. I mean, this guy, and his finishing move was the claw. Not the, he had his own version of the claw.
He had the he had the fingers in the mouth one, right, with no sock?
No, that was Mick Foley. His claw was like towards the head.
Oh, the face claw.
Yeah, the face claw. I mean, if you look at the size of Blackjack Mulligan, once he puts you in the claw, you're not gonna get up.
He also used the claw slam too.
Yes. And the thing I like about the Blackjack Mulligan, his legacy will live on because he started his own legacy. And then let's talk about his son. First, let's talk about Barry Windham. What can you say? Four Horsemen, the new Blackjack with JBL, a.k.a. Bradshaw at the time. I mean, former world champion. Former world heavyweight champion. Come on. He was a former NWA champion, former tag team champion. This guy has won championships everywhere he has been. Barry Windham. And now let's talk about the forgotten one, Kendall Windham. Oh, Lord. What can you say about him? He tried his best, but he wasn't as great as his big brother. I'll just put it that way.
Moving on back to the Samoans. We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Yes.
We had Rocky Johnson. Who else was in that legacy?
We got Rocky Johnson was in that legacy. We also got Yokozuna. Part of that legacy, we got obviously another Hall of Famer, Rikishi.
Jimmy Snuka,
Tonga, a.k.a. Haku. We also got The Rock. Obviously The Rock.
That's third generation. That's third generation. The Rock.
The Usos. Don't forget about Samu and Fatu. Fatu being Rikishi, but Samu, he was part of that legacy as well.
Don't forget about Rosie.
Rosie and Jamal, yes, both of them. 3-minute warning.
With Rico, wait, no, that wasn't your thing.
Yeah. But,
and Roman Reigns, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa. Let's forget about Leo Tonga because he was trash.
Yes, let's forget about him. And yes, I hate to bring her name up. Oh, I hate to bring her name up. Oh, I hate to bring her name up. But yes, she part of that family too.
Nia Jax,
yes,
Tamina.
Jax.
Obviously, not every member of that family has it. But speaking of Tama Tonga and Roman Reigns, I ran across one of their Twitter interactions, and Roman Reigns said something about how Haku never, unlike my dad, your dad was never, unlike my dad, your dad never held a world title. And Tama Tonga's like, who is you? Roman Reigns said something about how he was Universal Champion and didn't lose it. He had leukemia. And Tama Tonga was being respectful about the leukemia, but I'll get into that in a minute. And he was going on about all the things he did and said, you just are a tag champion. You'll never be anything more than that. I've done Universal Champion. I don't see you with an IWGP Heavyweight or Intercontinental belt around your waist. Tama Tonga said, well, it sucks about the chemo, man. But he says, who is you? I can't see you past the Rock shadow. I mean, that was a sting, man. That was a burn. Like Roman Reigns.
Was an epic burn.
Roman Reigns said. Roman Reigns. Tonga, man. Roman Reigns had a good comeback.
What was his comeback? What did Roman Reigns say?
I don't remember. It was a good comeback, but it didn't. Dude, come on. Who is you? Who the fuck is you? I can't see you past the Rock shadow.
And the thing about it is, they're part of the same family. That's the thing. That's the thing about it. They're part of the same family. I mean, if you can't have a good time with your family, then you know what I mean. But I gotta say, overall, that family with the Tongas, the Roman Reigns, the Usos, I'm going with all the good ones, all the great ones so far, and the Snuggles and all that. I mean, that's a huge wrestling family, bro. Their legacy would obviously live on.
Yeah.
That's a great wrestling family because just about everyone in that family has won championship. Yes. Just about everyone in that family has been champion.
Yeah, the Samoan Joes. Yeah, you're right, Jamie. When Roman Reigns comes back, he should team with Samoa Joe and call themselves Samoa Joes. Samoan Joes.
Yeah, that would be interesting, though.
It would. But, Tori, let's move on to the last part of this so we can get the hell up out of here. We're going to play a game.
All right, brother.
We're going to play a game.
All right.
And Jamie, you're welcome to play too, my friend. We're going to start with Tori, then me, then Jamie. You're going to say a wrestler, and me and Jamie are both going to say the first thing that comes to mind, and then I'll say that same thing, and then Jamie will do it.
All right. I'm going to say a wrestler, right?
You say a wrestler, and we say the first thing that comes to mind. We're not going to go winded on this.
All right. I got one for y'all.
Fire away.
The Great Muta.
Wrestle 1. Shit. I should have said... No.
That's the first thing that comes to mind with the Great Muta is Sting. His rivalry with Sting in Japan.
Wrestle 1, he runs it. Let's see what Jamie says. It's a little behind on Facebook. He said New Japan. Oh, man.
That's good. All
right.
Against who? Against who?
No. That's the game. First thing that comes to mind.
Okay. First thing's coming in. Okay. Your turn.
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
I'm going with
You can't rinse and recycle his answer.
That's all I know. I'm gonna say okay. All right. Okay.
Go Ace.
What did he say? My bad. I didn't mean to recycle the answer though, but that was my bad though.
He said New Japan about Great Muta.
Oh, okay.
He said Grandpa.
Dang. Oh, that's right. He is Grandpa.
All right,
I'm
what you
going
got?
with Jamie. What wrestler is Jamie pick?
Hang on, no. Give me something about Tanahashi.
Shoot. I'm gonna say great wrestler.
You could have used his rivalry with AJ, his match with Kurt Angle, his matches with Nakamura, Antonio Inoki.
I'm definitely going with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay.
That was one of the greatest rivalry I've seen in Japan.
High Fly Flow, he also says as his actual answer. All good answers. All right, Jamie, your turn. It'll take a minute because Facebook's doing this slow, Tori. I'm sorry to repeat myself on that, but...
Yeah, Facebook is always
How many rounds do you want to do this, Tori, before we get to final thoughts? Because I'm not going to do anything after this.
I'm going to go like 2 more rounds. 2 or 3 more rounds.
Let's do 5 rounds. That's 15 total wrestlers.
Okay, 5 rounds. Okay.
This is round 1.
All right.
He says Don Callis.
Oh,
Commentator. Great commentator.
I'm definitely saying ECW. That's where I remember him from.
Okay. Tori.
Yes.
Round 2. Start.
Oh man, I hate this guy. But I might go with his name anyway. New Jack.
Hide your wallet. Please don't kill me. Everybody that I've ever talked about New Jack with said when they were at a show, all the people would start telling you to hide your wallet. It was a running fan gag.
Is it my turn with New Jack? Or is it Jamie's turn with New Jack?
I did answer on Don Callis. I did answer on Don Callis. I said great announcer.
Yeah.
Because that's all I really know. That's all I really remember him for is all of his commentating.
I'm gonna say with New Jack, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Or the gangster.
He says trash. I got one.
Okay.
This is gonna be a good one. Raven.
Ooh. Whose turn is it? My turn?
Yeah, go for it.
Raven, TNA.
It was his destiny to use a staple gun to everybody's balls in King of the Mountain to win his first world title in his career. That's what comes to mind. The staple gun and him winning the world title. And talking about destiny.
What did Jamie say?
Jenny said Johnny Polo. I could have said serotonin too with that jackal mask. Because that was pretty memorable.
I could have said ECW, but that answer...
No. Remember the time in ECW when he was God and he crucified Sandman?
Yes.
That is like the most memorable thing because it was controversial.
Alright. Who else we got?
Alright. He was a successful manager and wrestler. He really was. I didn't like Raven's flock and I didn't like his WWE run, but I loved his TNA run. Period. His ECW and TNA runs were the best. Go ahead, Jamie. You're a wrestler. This has been a fun episode, especially for a close to year ender. I'm waiting on Jamie.
Oh, man.
Chris Candido. Tori.
Skip. I just said skip.
ECW. Literally everything he did in ECW.
No gimmicks needed, huh?
I loved that. He said Funk Feud. All right.
That was a great.
Yeah, it was. But then again, you name me one bad Funk Feud besides as Chainsaw Charlie versus fucking Mankind. Yeah, never mind. Go ahead. Corey.
All right. First name that comes to mind. Okay. Davey Boy Smith. The original Davey Boy Smith.
My thought, hands down,
Yes.
the British Bulldogs. And their pug.
Yeah. This match against Bret the Hitman Hart is for me.
I'm going to go with the British Bulldogs because I just loved him in Dynamite. I actually liked them better than I did with him in the Hart Foundation.
I actually like that tag team too, but since you mentioned that the tag team, the British Bulldog, I had to go with his match against Bret the Hitman Hart at SummerSlam.
Jamie said Camp Cornette. I forgot about that.
Oh man,
I forgot about that.
that was oh man.
Okay. My next one. This is gonna be a good one. Yes. I was gonna ask you if it did.
I'm ready, bro.
My toe's sore. You stepped on the wrong toe. Shut up, Judy. I actually think I have it in the wrong toe. Yeah, we'll go. Oh.
What would you say?
No, it's making it up. How about Io Shirai?
Ooh. Her match against Toni Storm in Japan.
I'm gonna say Queen's Quest or any match she had against Asuka. I mean, her entire Japan run. Asuka, Kairi Sane, Toni Storm, Nikki Storm, aka Nikki Cross, Shayna Baszler, Piper Niven, and I could just keep on going, but Queen's Quest. And also her tag team with Mio Shirai too, her older sister. That woman is fucking.
She's gonna do great in NXT though. I believe that Io Shirai is gonna do great in NXT.
Oh yeah, she will, and then she'll go to main roster and get shit on because she's Japanese.
Yeah, that's true. But go ahead. What did Jamie say? I said her match.
He said Mae Young Classic. That's all he did. That's probably all he really has on her. The Mae Young Classic. Hey man, you should have just went with the easy answer, Kagetsu. That's who replaced her in Stardom. And Kagetsu is the modern day Mayumi Ozaki. She is the new Queen of the Street Fight. She beat Mayumi Ozaki in a over a year and a half feud to acquire the title Queen of the Street Fight.
Hey.
All right, Jamie, it's your move, your pick. Let me go down because he said something. He said Billy Kidman. Oh man, that's an easy one.
You go first, bro.
Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio. Anything, tag team, feud, interaction, everything. WCW, WWE. Everything they did was great. Literally. He said filthy animals.
Ravens flop. I had to go with Ravens flop.
You should have said, ew.
Ravens flop.
Ugh, you should have said.
I know, it sucks, man. It sucks, but I had to go with Ravens flop.
That's what comes to mind. I would have said Shooting Star Press.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. The 7-year itch. The Shooting Star Press.
All right. So that's been round 3. What round 4, Tori? Pop.
Woo! But, he could be a wrestler from the past or the present, right?
Or the future. Maybe. No.
Or future. Well, I'm going with my personal favorite, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Hands down, that triple-threaded Unbreakable 2006 with Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels.
I'm waiting on Jamie.
I was going to jump on that one real fast. You say AJ, I'm going to go with that, and I've already covered his... I'm not going to carbon copy and say his feud with Tanahashi.
What did Jamie say?
Plus, he was married to Tori Wilson. He was talking about Billy Kidman.
Man.
I feel sorry for...
He was lucky.
He said put TNA on the map.
That's true. That is true. Well, for me, his match against Nakamura in Japan.
You know what? His match against Jerry Lynn in TNA. I hear that pause like, I hear that over there.
I also want to say Bullet Club, but I was just going to leave that alone.
That really wasn't a big highlight, though. Like, his Bullet Club run really was... It was cool, but it wasn't as good as his run 10 years prior.
Yeah. But I said his match against... one of his best matches to me was his match against Nakamura in Japan. Not in WWE, folks.
One of his best matches to me was any of his matches with Tanahashi, including his one in TNA.
Yeah.
All right, my next one.
Who got a wrestler now?
Mine. This one's gonna get you, cause this one is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun answer. My next pick, and you have to go with this incarnation. You cannot go with any of his other shit.
All right.
Itchweed.
Who the hell?
That's one of Jeff Hardy's gimmicks.
Itchweed?
Yes, Itchweed.
I might as well go say TNA. Might as well just say Impact TNA.
Actually,
that's the only thing that comes
you should have said Broken Universe.
Or Broken Universe, but I'm just going with TNA as a whole. I remember that gimmick.
Jeff Hardy, Itchweed's Crib from their YouTube podcast. Or the costume contest, which was also funny. That was actually not developed in TNA. It was actually developed on the Hardy podcast.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I wonder what Jamie said about this, because I was like, Itchweed, what the hell? That caught me off guard there, bro.
He said the 919. All right, Jamie. This is after Jamie's. We got round 4 or round 5, and we're done.
All right. I'm waiting on Jamie. I want to hear this one.
It's Facebook, dude. It's just Facebook being real slow.
Yeah, Facebook being well. I'm not going there, but.
He said Conan. Can I get this one first, please?
Please do.
his recovery from his I forget the recovery from his kidney problems. I donated like $500, $600 to that. Really, really, really cool dude.
50 animals for me. I said, you heard me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that Conan's doing okay, though. I did not know about that.
That was years ago.
I wasn't aware of that one.
That was back in the early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
That's been long over with. Tori, after
I said 50 animals in WCW.
He said L.A. IA Legion Extranjera, the Foreign Legion.
Okay, it's my turn now?
Yeah, last pick.
My last pick, Yoshihiro Tajiri.
That's easy. The Buzzsaw.
Go ahead, bro.
The Buzzsaw.
I'm waiting on Jamie's turn, then I'll go.
Yeah, and by the way, I do know that I could have said LAX, but no, I didn't. Green Mist.
Super Crazy. His rivalry was super crazy in ECW and in Japan. And also in Mexico.
He is the legendary Japanese Buzzsaw.
Yes,
that's what I was...
he is. That was my final pick, Yoshihiro Tajiri. I said his rivalry was super crazy.
Yeah, I am. I'm almost done. We're going through our lesson.
Who got the final? I already did my final pick.
Yeah, I'm next. We're doing one more round and we're doing final thoughts and we're out of here. Okay. What? You know what? I'm gonna make this just a complete comedy answer. King Maxwell. King Maxwell.
Oh. The first thing that comes to my mind is Matt Hardy. That's all I can think of.
You couldn't even think of Revy Sky. First thing that comes to my mind, he beat Drake Maverick, aka Rockstar Spud.
Yes, he did.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. He beat. I mean, you can't come back from that. What you got, Jamie?
What's Jamie's final pick?
No, he's got to give his thought and then his final pick. So just go ahead and do both. He said, diaper, he's over them now. Left, not left. Go away. Let's see what his final pick is, Tori.
We should do this every week for real, Donovan.
We could, but
this is fun.
We could, but we already have so many other things. It just depends on how long the shows go. This show went pretty long because I was hoping Chris would show up.
Yeah, but you know he.
I'll get with him on a later date or some shit.
Yeah, we'll get to him sometime when he's not so busy. Waiting on my boy Jamie.
He says Cybernetico.
Who?
Cybernetico.
Okay. First thing that comes to my mind, I don't know who the hell this guy is.
No, the first thing that came to your mind was what came to Stone Cold's mind. What?
What? Yeah. But that was a good one, though.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but the El Flagera incident. His thought is Lost Hell Brothers. Mine was the El Flagera incident.
Okay.
Basically,
that's... Oh, you're talking about Lagario?
No, not
Lagario. Oh,
you're
talking about Lagario?
No, not Lagario or Lagario, not El Lagera or Lagario. But it was called Flagera.
Oh.
He was supposed to be a luchador that his gimmick was, his attire was the Mexican flag. He was the pride of Mexico, El Flagera.
Oh. I should have went with Mexico then.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
That's the only match.
I didn't know who that guy was, but now I'm going with Mexico.
He's a AAA legend, but I don't know much about him. I've only seen him wrestle like twice.
I heard about him, but I say the first thing that comes to my mind now that I think about it is Mexico. AAA.
All right, that was fun. But let's get back into let's get into our final thoughts.
All right.
He competed he competed at Survivor Series 1997. Yeah, I don't remember that Survivor Series, to be honest.
He was there. He was there. Jamie's right. My final thoughts is, first of all, I think I want to say I had fun. Just, we had fun. I'm pretty sure I'm sure Donovan had fun. I had fun. Jamie, appreciate the picks. Appreciate you helping us out.
We wished you were actually on the show, Jamie, but I know your work schedule prohibits it. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I wanted to just get that out there.
Yeah, we wish you was on the show, man, because the three of us could have had a lot of fun, bro. But as I was saying, my final thoughts is that I hope everyone have fun. I hope everyone enjoyed this show. And
peace out,
that's all. I just hope everyone enjoyed the show. That was my final thought. And before my boy closed the show, that's why I'm sticking to that line. So before he's closed the show,
well, I got to do my final thoughts. I got to do my final thoughts still. You cut into the chase.
Okay. Go ahead, bro.
Jamie said, I enjoyed... Hang on, Tori, hang on. Jamie said, I enjoyed this as well. I may not make many of these, but I hope to make more of these in the future. Merry Christmas. Best wishes for 2019. Thank you very much. You have a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year, and most of all, for my final thoughts, Jamie, thank you for being here. Damn it, Chris Dillsworth! I'm just kidding, but no, I'm not. I wasn't meaning that maliciously, but I really wished he'd have been here. We could have had a lot of fun. But thank you, Jamie, for being here, man. We appreciate it. We hope you're here more. If you can pin down a show like this, let me know ahead of time if you think you can. And we'll try to do a little bit more of these. Not just cover the freaking results every single week. We'll try to add like a little segment for you if you want. Like this. Maybe just shorter, but yeah. Dillsworth, yeah. Alright, so Tori, my final thoughts. Stay golden. That psycho clown that gave you the quote-unquote bow tie, I intend on giving him the Devil's Triangle at Battle Royale, which is on January 20th, WVPW. AC Smooth versus a sponge for the kitchen sink. And most of all, Tori, thank you. Thank you for being here. We will be back next week, next Thursday. we're not gonna do another results show. We're gonna cover We're gonna cover EC. We're gonna start in January on the result shows. Next week we're gonna have another fun show. Me and Tori are probably just gonna kind of discuss throughout the week what we're gonna actually do on that show. But we'll do it like this one, Jamie. So if you are able to make it next Thursday, and hopefully Chris Dillsworth will be here, and we can do something like this with him on the show. But yeah, I loved this, and it was actually because of you that I decided today we'd do this. I was gonna wait till next week, but then I decided, hey, we're gonna play a game anyway. Let's have a whole show of just fun. So yeah, that's my final thoughts. So until next time, don't keep it tight because that sounds very pedophile borderline. Stay golden, keep it smooth. Make it savage.
Also, this is a story.
Oh, don't even try. Come on, man. Really? Look.
What?
And no, this needs to be your catchphrase. And always make history.
Always make history. And ta-ta. I wish you all ta-ta for now.
I see you all later.